Okay. Missed Sunday run or Saturday run. It's supposed to be a long run. But I got Giovanni on the phone. He's going to be showing up tomorrow. And, I don't know if I... Yeah, I think I mentioned this. The freaking neighbor just going nuts about this stupid shed. Like, fuck off, buddy, okay? Plant whatever you want in your property. Like, fix whatever you need to in your place. I don't care, right? So, finally got the homeowner on the phone as well. And he didn't give a shit. Because I went into this tailspin. Because I couldn't get him on the phone. I thought he was going to say, like, hey, man, you know, I'm not trying to make waves with the neighbors stuff. And they saying you said something and all this. So I'm going to have to let you go. That's what I thought he was going to say. That's what I thought he was going to say. And I just went into a tailspin. You know, just couldn't think about anything else and kept prepping myself to have that conversation. I couldn't stop getting emotional about it, and that's one thing I suck at. I have a hard time not being emotional about something like that, unless I've taken a hell of a lot of Adderall, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes prior. Maybe like if I'm in like an hour and a half in, it'd be perfect. Then I'm like, I don't know. They just asked me some questions. Didn't seem like it mattered. And they're like, well, you know, they said you were saying stuff. You know, obviously ignoring like the fact that, you know, someone said, oh, my wife isn't going to like that you're building a shed on my neighbor's property. His wife, oh my God. She had this, like, old lady thigh gap. You know, like, why do they look like a troll when they have that? Why do they look like a troll? There's just something about they end up walking like this, like they're getting like this old Baba Yaga, like some old mythical grandmother, like even if they're not carrying bags, they still have their arms out like they could carry bags. They're like, I have to choose one posture for the next 40 years, and I chose this. It is all I have. Why do they do that? She gets out of the car, she starts walking in like she's gonna draw on me. And she's got these freaking like Chuck Norris sunglasses on, like. You know, like completely invisible. And she says the exact same thing that her husband said. What is it you're building here? Shed. That's all I did. I was like, I turned, and like, a shed. And then I turned to the shed location, made sure I couldn't see her so she could know I didn't care, and just went, shed. Just like that. Like right where it was going to be, just like, shed. I turned back to her. Interesting. That means someone doesn't like something. When someone says interesting, number one, you should believe it means they don't like it. Number two, if they say it with no feeling, it means they definitely didn't like it. They did not enjoy that. Not at all. Interesting. And then I just turn my back, walk in the house. Go walk in the house. Go fix your fence. It looks like garbage. It looks like actual garbage. I don't want to have to work here and turn and see your fence. It looks like dog shit. I wouldn't reach for it if it was the one piece of dry lumber in the whole world and Adam's second flood was coming up to kill everybody. I'd be like, not only can that not hold my weight, it just looks terrible. Just terrible. At least I still have the plastic face. The plastic face. I uploaded 2 videos earlier. One was this 23, 44 second monster almost 24 minutes. One view, apparently. I don't know who. It wasn't me. Someone just accidentally fell onto my videos. I don't know how that was going to happen. If people end up actually subscribing to this channel and all I'm doing is sitting here recording my thoughts at the end of every day, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'll keep doing that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, fuck it. But, you know, if it does happen, that's pretty interesting, because what am I going to do? I mean, I'm thinking of, like, what will I do? It's like, okay, obviously you just keep doing the same thing if that actually works. I think what people actually think, what we actually think when we get that thought, is how will I keep making myself do the same thing? Because it changes everything. You know, suddenly people are watching. People are watching. They're watching you. They're watching me. But they're watching you. Right? Just right now. Like, take the car out of autopilot and grab the manual controls, you know? And just kind of look around the room. You know? And just imagine all those people that you just see. They're looking at you. Like, just imagine. Let's just pick one person. Let's pick that guy. Let's pick that guy right there. Yeah. I'm not going to heckle you or anything. I don't have anything bad to say. I'm happy you're here. You know? Isn't everybody happy here? We're happy he's here. I'm happy you're here. You might be happy I'm here. Everybody is generally happy about someone else being here. Now let's all look at him. How does that feel? Feels kind of weird. Yeah. Not that bad. I can see you quavering, sir. Just a little bit. It's difficult. It's difficult. I saw a video of Jerry Seinfeld being kind of accosted by some random person holding their phone up. It's a recording. Jerry Seinfeld is parking his bicycle in New York. Like, he's locking a bicycle. And he's got sunglasses on and a bicycle helmet. And the guy is like, "Hey, Jerry Seinfeld, what are you doing? Why are you riding a bike for? Why are you riding a bike? Oh, come on, Jerry Seinfeld. Why are you riding that bike?" And he's Jerry Seinfeld. Why? Why shouldn't I? What should I do? What? I'm going to work. What do you need to work for, Jerry Seinfeld? What do you need? You don't need to work. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Like, what is that? Suddenly the whole world's looking at you. And you know what? Anybody who's famous, who gets on the subject of fame right now, will say, well, people who are like celebrities, like people that you see, that you look at, not when they're doing something crucial, like in the moment. How, like, you know, if you're an actor, you can't record in a theater, and you don't know when they shot a certain scene, and they're not doing that scene like up to the minute if they're shooting a movie. It was made before. It's not like they're off somewhere. Like, this is the difference with, like, I think someone like David Blaine. You know, someone like David Blaine, he'll actually be there. What his stunt is happening right there. You go to see him. You look for what he's doing. I like cycling. I like bike races. You know, people who are famous because they race, like Julian Alaphilippe. I don't expect you to know who that is, and it doesn't matter. He's famous because of what he does at certain moments of the day. Most days of the year. You know, he might have like 80 race days. You know, that's what? That's like 20% of the year. So 20% of the year for 5 to 8 hours every day, he's doing something that people want to see. You know, that's different. Actors aren't the same. Politicians, that's another one. They're doing something that people are looking at. Like shitting on the whole country and getting away with it. You know, we look at them in the moment while they're shitting. And it's weird. It's weird. I think YouTube counts because if you're uploading often, it just happened. Even if you're uploading like once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it means what that person looked like somewhere in the last 3 weeks. And you know how they felt or what they were doing or whatever the fuck, In the last 2-3 weeks, you knew what they were doing. It's weird. If that's you, how can you not walk around altering your entire state of being? I don't know. I don't know how I'll do it. And I tell you what, I'm up here. This is kind of like a stand-up routine. I'm up here trying to get to some place where more people will necessarily know who I am. And I'm 37 years old. And you know what? I think I have been avoiding other people knowing who I am. I think that is why I'm here. I don't know if I really want it. Do you want it? It doesn't seem like fun anymore. Those old stories like what Led Zeppelin did, like what certain fighters did. The stories of certain sports teams, like what was it happened in the locker room, all that sort of thing. That sort of stuff is gone. It's gone because of the video. Because of the video. Because they've all got you. And if the people aren't taking it, wherever you are is taking it. And it doesn't matter if you're outside. My sister went to University of Pennsylvania. All right? My sister went to University of Pennsylvania. There was a guy, a woman that she worked with, was on a bus, like one of the campus buses, okay? And she's getting off. No. A woman that my sister works with was walking down the sidewalk right around UPenn. There was a guy at the bus stop who was yelling, because maybe he's crazy, but he was also just kind of like pacing and gesticulating wildly. And she was walking to her car, which was parked on the side of the road, right at the sidewalk. So she knows the head of campus security. So she calls him and she says, "Hey, there's this guy like at the bus stop. Maybe he's just kind of nuts and he's harmless, but he just seems like really volatile." He goes, where are you? She's like, "I'm at the corner of such and such and such and such. I'm about to get in my car." He goes, "Is your car the yellow Nissan Xterra?" She's like, No. I'm like one spot back. I'm in the Volvo." He goes, "Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, yeah, I'll have a cop come in." Like, you could just call someone. You could call someone, and that person will be able to see you from where you are. And they're not in China. That's just wild. Ain't that wild? That's weird. That is weird. And I bet Amazon will have a private service coming where they will offer this anywhere for a small fee. Yep. It's coming. Everything's going to be seen. Everything. Everything. And it makes it hard to think of how we walk around each other. Because that used to be our security blanket. What happens when you have a kid or you have a friend who's a kid or your kids and someone is afraid of doing something, right? You're like, "Oh, I want to play, but I'm afraid of looking like an idiot." It's like, look, if you go to kick the ball and you miss, and you fall on your ass, just get up, accept the laughter, dust yourself off, and start jogging again, right? Now, someone's going to have that. Someone might have that. We see too much. It is totally weird. It took 250,000 years for our species to even begin building civilization. 250,000 years. We were around for that long. Our oldest civilization currently that we know about is called Göbekli Tepe. It's in Turkey. It's like 12,500 years old, but it could be past 17,000 years old. That rewrites the book. That discovery, I think in the mid-90s, rewrote the book. You know, we used to think it was like 8,000 years was the oldest, you know? Nope. We're talking about a civilization that predates the pyramids by thousands of years. Thousands of years. We were drawing cave paintings 20,000 years ago. You know, there's... What is next? What is next? The future is going to be great. It's already pretty good. No matter what someone tells you, today, it's pretty good to be alive. If you're in America, it's pretty good to be alive. And I hate this town. I do. I don't really like most places. Unless it's in the woods and I don't know where I am, I don't really like it. Yeah. It's going to be a wild, wild place. And that's my sleeping dog. And my other sleeping dog is right there. I like sitting here at the end of the day. It's 12:55 a.m. where I am. I've got Kevin Hart's new special on. Let's see, about 6 minutes of the first 30 have been funny. But, you know, he hasn't been on the road. He's just been working from home. So, you know, I guess that's bound to happen. What are you going to do? Some of it's funny. I hope that it's getting funnier. He invited everyone to his house. He's got like 50 people in this little lounge atmosphere in his house. Did he black bag them? You know, they put a bag over their heads to go into his house? You know, I'm sure they vetted and screened them, right? Vetted and screened for, I don't know, how many dimensions. You know, not just like mental health, arrest history, race, age, height, attractiveness, you know, the bank account, wardrobe, marriage status. Like, that seems like a pretty difficult venue to get into, right there. It seems like a pretty difficult space to get into. But, hey, if you can, I can see why people, and you hear laughing, I'm like, I don't know. Much of this stuff doesn't seem very funny, but, you know, people are laughing, so fuck it, maybe it's funny. I don't know. I think maybe just the venue is pretty funny. That he's in his own house. But it just doesn't seem like there's any pressure. You know, comedy is so much better when there's pressure. There's pressure. And like, even if you haven't been to... sorry, my lips are fucking done. Even if you haven't been to a comedy special, like you've got, or not a special, but someone's act, like they're going to, like my parents took me to see Stephen Wright once. That might have been the only comedy performance I've seen in person. I think so. Oh, good Christ. Yeah. Stephen Wright, and like I knew him. I knew his act. I'd watched some that my parents had on VHS, and he used a lot of the same jokes, a fair amount of the same jokes, but he had all these other jokes. Oh my God, he murdered. Stephen Wright is a frickin' genius. Like, it's the sort of person you don't even know what he... I don't even know how he would have just a new hour. It just seems like he's got like 5 hours of jokes. Non-stop. And he just sort of picks from what he wants to do. And he does those and he makes a killing. It's amazing. I wonder if he's even still performing. If you don't know who Stephen Wright is, if you've seen Reservoir Dogs, Stephen Wright is the voice of the radio DJ. You're listening to K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s. Like, and that's how he talks all the time. That guy is frickin' hilarious. He slays. He slays. But, you know, a comedian goes to do a special, like, it's normally either like Bill Burr said, it's like an advertisement to remind people that he's about to go on the road. But then it could be the other way, like what Dave Chappelle recently did, where he would go on stage like every day for months. He did this. He'd be up for like 2.5 or 3 hours. 3 hours. That's nuts. Every day. But, you know, then it turns out he's got like 4 or 5 hours worth of material to do, and he does these individual hour sets in different venues. And they're all amazing. All of them. All of them. My God, I love him so much. He's a fucking genius. Fucking genius. Sophisticated. He has a sophisticated intellectual palate and palate for humor. You know, it's not just like this and then this happened. It's one part of it was unexpected and then It's like he's articulating it. Like I just saw this video. I saw Joe Rogan's interview with Naval Ravikant, who's I'd never heard of. He's amazing. Anybody should watch that. Everybody should watch that. And he brought up Richard Feynman had this lecture where he explained in 4 pages of text, 4 pages worth of printed text. He could explain counting on your hands, from counting on your hands up to advanced calculus. Just explaining it. He said he didn't even need to memorize. He said Naval Ravikant said if you're memorizing something, then it means you don't fully understand something. And I know that, and I've known that, and I hate that. I hate when people need me to memorize something. I will memorize details because I can't remember enough to articulate them. You know, and he's still right. You know, if I knew everything, then I could see the full landscape, and I wouldn't need this constellation of truths like we all have to ordinate and arrange my point of view. But I do. So he brought up Richard Feynman being able to, he doesn't need these constellations of memorized things. He can just explain how it works fluidly. I have to find that lecture. But that's how Dave Chappelle operates. That's how he expresses himself, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. All right, I'm at 23 minutes and change. I want to watch more of this special. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to be at Southtown at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I got to go. It's been real. Peace.